Welcome into episode 27 of the Bleav in Twins podcast. I am your host, Anders Pryor, alongside my wonderful co-host, Twins expert and analyst and good friend, Zac Tipton. This is usually the exact second mark in the show where I make some sort of obnoxious comment about Zac's personal life to transition into our non-sports subject of the day. But Zac has insisted that I pass the baton to him because he has something cool planned in store. So,
well, I mean, this does have to do with my personal life, so this would be a transition into that. But Anders, I gotta ask.
Yep.
Did you ever play Minecraft growing up?
I didn't. No, I was like the one. I was like in the weird kid group in middle school. I was like the one kid that didn't. I've tried it. I've played it for about 5 minutes, but I don't know. Don't know. Don't shame me.
That's disappointing. Honestly, it's kind of disappointing.
I know it is.
Well, for those of you out there that have played Minecraft and probably grew up with Minecraft, unlike Anders here, you know how much big of an impact it had on our lives growing up. But you also know that every couple of years or so, you get that itch to go back on. You get that itch to maybe have like a 2-week stretch where users are back on Minecraft playing it again, and then you get off for 2 more years and you don't play it again for a couple more years. That's just how it is. That is the Minecraft grind. You know this. Well, my itch has officially resurfaced. I have been back into the Minecraft grind as of the past 3-4 days. Me and my friends from home have a realm that we play on, and we got like 5 or 6 of us back on Minecraft playing with each other. We have a whole world already built up. I got full diamond armor. I got full stuff. It's great. But yeah, so I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping to talk with Andrew about Minecraft, but he doesn't play Minecraft, so that's not cool.
Well, no, I mean, I understand a lot of the optics of it, and I understand, I've seen all of the really overdone music video parodies, and they try to make it sad and whatever.
Don't disrespect Fallen Kingdom.
I'm not okay.
Don't disrespect Fallen Kingdom.
I'm just calling it like it is. But then the other thing too that I know, so I love Jack Black. I haven't seen the Minecraft movie. I'm not going to. I've heard.
I am not going to see it. No one's going to see it.
I don't know if it's out yet. I don't even know if it's out yet. But I've heard just initial things about it being really not good, because my understanding too, and I would have seen it if it was like this, even though I don't play the game. There was an opportunity to sort of, make this kind of realistic, sort of dark fantasy kind of movie with, that has some seriousness, not even a seriousness to it, but just some ominence to it. And have it be this sort of, aesthetically kind of integrated story with some really cool, unique visuals. And instead what they did was they did this sort of just cringy, campy, DreamWorks thing. And that, I feel like that's kind of, it just feels a little rushed and undone. If it was that kind of first thing, I've never really played the game. I would have totally watched that, but I'm not going to go see that. I love Jack Black. Jack Black can get me to about any screen. That's a really Kung Fu Panda. If they could come up with 7 of those things, I'd see every single one.
You saw the most recent one? You saw the most recent Kung Fu Panda that came out? How many years ago was that most recent?
You're talking about Kung Fu Panda 3, right?
It was one that just came out a couple of years ago, maybe even
last year. I think that's 3. I'm pretty sure that's 3. I don't know if they've made a 4th. No. There is a 4th one. I have not seen that. I would like to see it though.
Kung Fu Panda 4 came out in 2020. It came out this year.
Okay. No, so I've only seen the first 3, but I'd like to see the 4th.
Came out in March of this year.
But I will not be seeing the Minecraft movie.
Okay, that is fair. I was not talking about the Minecraft movie at all, but I respect it. No, it's going to be really bad. I'm not planning on watching it either. Which kind of sucks. They actually got some really good characters in. They got some good actors in the Minecraft movie. They got Emma Myers, Jack Black, Jason Momoa.
Yep.
Like, they got good characters. They just kind of, it doesn't look good.
Right.
They got good actors, and it just doesn't look good. Which kind of sad.
Yeah.
But with that, I want to talk Anders.
Yep.
In a non-sports, non-baseball kind of way here.
Yep.
The Vikings are just here. And as the Minnesota Twins podcast, I feel like we should continue to focus on Minnesota sports. And obviously none are bigger than the Vikings right now, who are 8-2 and somehow just keep winning, despite not looking great in any of their last few performances.
Right.
They come out, keep winning, and again, it's probably the inferior opponents, but we now are 8-2. Darnold had a really good game, I thought, against the Titans. Anders, where do you see the Vikings season finishing? What are your thoughts right now, kind of looking ahead to the Vikings, and looking at that?
Yeah, so I mean, they close out the year, excuse me. So they close out the year with a pretty brutal stretch of Seahawks, Packers, and then at Detroit. That's pretty rough. But the good news is, and the Cardinals game, I think, though the Cardinals game is going to be tougher than we thought it would be entering the year. But the good news for them is that they still have 2 games left against the Bears. And I believe one game against the Falcons, which, like that, I think that's pretty winnable. So I think they, right now, to me, just looking at everything ahead, the floor, because they've already beaten the Packers once, and it was in Green Bay, so they'll have them for home. I think the absolute floor for this team is 12-5. I think that's the floor, and I do think the Lions are going to win the division. I think they'll have it. I think they'll have the division on lock before
Week 17 game,
week 18 game, before the Week 18 game. But I mean, I fully, just based on the landscape of everything right now, I fully expect the Vikings to be the 5 seed.
I will admit here, though, the Vikings have 2 games versus the Bears. As you said, the Packers, Lions, and Seahawks. We also have the Cardinals in there, who are a really hot team right now, and we face them in a couple weeks. So the Vikings definitely don't have an easy schedule left. We got through our really easy portion of the schedule where we faced 3 AFC South teams in a row. Like, that was the easy part of our schedule. Right. So looking ahead now, though, I agree. I think, but if you're the Vikings and you want to compete, you have to win, I would say, 2 of the 3 of those final 3 games. If you want to be considered serious,
right,
the Seahawks, Packers, Lions, you have to win 2 out of 3. Otherwise, you're going to be considered limping into the playoffs, in my opinion. I don't think you want that considered. So I think you have to win.
There's going to be a sour taste anyway. I mean, no, I think that's a fair analysis. I would say, like, I think there's going to be a pretty sour taste entering the playoffs anyway, because I think that they're going to lose to Detroit at Detroit. But I mean, I would anticipate a sweep of the Bears. That would be my guess. And I would assume that between the Falcons and the Cardinals, that you'd split between them. Excuse me. Both of those games are important because both of those divisions to this point are kind of undecided. I mean, we know how tight the NFC West is, and then we thought the Falcons were going to run away with the division, but they're kind of they're taking more steps back than we would have liked. The defense is not, despite the additions, they kind of started off strong and then kind of didn't really step on the gas.
NFC West, you said the NFC West is close. That is true, but they are close in a bad way in terms of.
They are close in a bad way. So
the Cardinals are 6-4, and no one else is really like 500 or above. Like
right.
That is really like it's close in that way.
So if the Rams, Seahawks, or Niners make a surge at some point, then that could mean there's a situation where the Cardinals, where their path to the playoff is a wild card spot. And so the Vikings getting that head-to-head is really important, because if you look at the Cardinals' schedule, it's not a complete – they still have games against the Cardinals still have games against a game against the Patriots and a game against the Panthers. So they have some cushioning left. So that head-to-head tiebreaker, I think, is going to be really important for the Vikings.
And now I want to move on quickly. One more topic in the NFL.
Yep.
Anders' favorite topic in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Anders, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys, shall we?
Okay.
Anders' favorite topic in the NFL. America's team, some may say. Anders, there are topics here that I know Anders does not want to talk about also in the Cowboys situation, which includes a possibility of the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys being Deion Sanders. And Anders is like trying very not to throw up in his mouth right now. Anders, what are your thoughts about like the Cowboys and the actual possibility that Deion Sanders is the next coach of this team?
All right, so I'm gonna lose my mind. I
knew he would lose it. I knew he would lose it. So this is great content.
So here's the thing. So first of all, so the three names that have been connected to the Cowboys coaching job are Deion Sanders, Bill Belichick, and Mike Vrabel. Now, I think that my pick would be Vrabel. I think Vrabel's a perfect pick. But I think of those three, and he's also the one, and that you can kind of have as a long-term option of those three. I think objectively Deion's the worst of those three, just anyway. But then there's a couple sidebars of this that I just cannot. I'm gonna lose my mind talking about this, because this is the rhetoric and discord on this is so frustrating. So first of all of the Cowboys critics, their whole thing is how the Cowboys are a circus and they're not a serious organization, and that football doesn't come first. And then those same people are turning right around and saying, hey, let's get the most polarizing and one of the most like publicly attractive and magnetic figures in football in the building. That will solve the problem. And so it's like there's this weird addiction where I think the Cowboys critics almost want them to be dysfunctional because they don't know how to talk about anything else, because that's all we do for clicks, for views, for traffic, for engagement, whatever. So that's the first thing. So I think it's just it's such a clickbaity thing. I don't think the people that think that are suggesting that it happens actually want it to happen, or that they think it's a good idea. That's the first thing. And I don't want
it to happen, but I think it'd be the most hilarious thing.
I'm not done. Then there's this sub-faction of people. Colin Cowherd went on Fox Sports today, and I love Colin. He's he's one of the reasons that I'm doing this with Zach right now. Like, he's like listening to his shows in high school, like, have transformed my life forever. But God, he made this, but arguably like one of like his Mount Rushmore of bad takes, which was that not only should the Cowboys hire Deion Sanders which is such a circus take. But wait, Zach, I'm not finished yet.
I just saw the tweet of it. I just saw Colin Cowherd's tweet of it.
But they should be doing whatever it takes, including trading multiple first round picks and Micah Parsons, their best player, to trade up to number 1 to draft Shedeur, which doesn't work for a few reasons. Number one, there's it goes under the assumption that Shedeur is going to be a hit, which I don't think, which a lot of people, I don't think it's going to be the case. I think that's the same opinion for a lot of people. Number two, even if he was an amazing prospect, like Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence, Kyler Murray, Andrew Luck, you don't trade your best player to move up 5 spots in addition to all that capital. And so not only would the money that you're committed to Dak prevent you from playing the game of putting all the pieces around Shedeur, but then you would, on top of that, be giving up premium draft assets to surround Dak or whoever with quality, inexpensive players. It's the most, I have to take my glasses off because of how frustrated I am talking about this. It's the most like just tone deaf and facile take I've ever heard. It's the most Fox Sports take I've ever heard. I can't believe it's a real thing. Because guess what? They could use one of those first round picks. Drafting Micah's replacement. They can if they trade it to get Shedeur Sanders, who might be what? The 3rd best quarterback in a weak quarterback draft? Give me a break. God, it's so awful. God, I'm so angry.
I've seen that take, though. I've seen that take of, like, draft Shedeur. And then I'm like, but then again, doesn't Dak have, like, a no-trade clause? Does Dak have a no-trade clause? Or am I wrong?
No, he does. He does. That's the crazy part. And so I just gave that 9-ton spiel on all like 24 reasons why it's such an awful, stupid idea. And then on top of everything, there's this really just aloof assumption that Dak's gonna just roll over and be like, actually, you know what? Like, because then what's gonna happen? Because then I know it's not apples to apples, but Nick Wright used this example, which I thought was really smart. It's gonna turn into the Derek Carr thing, where basically he's gonna make it as difficult as possible, and then they're gonna have to end up cutting him, keeping the dead money, preventing them from putting assets around Shedeur, and they're not gonna get anything in return regardless, and they'll be out of their first round picks. So I have to take off my glasses a second time. I cannot believe this is a real conversation. The correct thing to do, Zach. Look at me. The correct thing to do is to get the 5th or 6th pick and draft like
Shanty.
So let's talk about it, right? Gianti, great option, right? If you want to shore up the defense, alongside another defensive coordinator, get Vrabel a great defensive piece, you go get Will Johnson, right? You go, DeMarcus Lawrence is probably out the door because, of all the new money kicking in for CD and Dak. Get James Pierce, right? Get Abdul Carter. See how I don't sound dumb and stupid when I suggest that, right?
Yeah.
And you know what the best part about those picks is that not only would you be getting a great player in Gianti or Johnson or Pierce, you'd get to keep your first next year. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that you get to in addition for?
And here's the thing that I also, so I'm going to say my spiel here. Here's the thing I don't like about the move also. Jerry Jones has made it very clear that he wants to be the loudest voice in the room in his time, right? Jason Garrett was not I'm going to take over the voice. He's like a guy that he'll go over, give his regular media spiel, and then Jerry Jones take all the credit. Mike McCarthy. The reason Mike McCarthy was brought in for the Cowboys was because he had won, yes. But he was a quiet guy that didn't like talk to the media that much and was like, hey, I'll let Jerry Jones do talking to the media for me. I'll just go play football. I'll just go coach football. That's why Mike McCarthy was brought in. If you bring in Deion Sanders, Jerry Jones is no longer the loudest voice in the room. Jerry Jones is no longer the media center of the Dallas Cowboys. That would be Deion. Deion would take all that. And so for me, Mike Vrabel seems like the perfect hire because he's another guy that is more quieter, wants to just coach football, not have to deal with the media too much. And that's a perfect Jerry Jones hire. So to me, I think Vrabel's the perfect hire for them. Deion would be we're going insane hire and we're just changing everything up.
Right.
So no, I can't even believe that we're talking about it, to be honest. I know I'm the one that brought it up, but like I can't believe that like this has actually come to fruition where we're actually talking about the Cowboys possibly hiring Deion. Because like I made a joke, like I made jokes on that. It's like Deion Sanders is gonna be a head coach of the Cowboys someday. And to think that 2 years later that actually happened, that we're actually talking about this is nuts. And it's like after one good, like I will admit, like I will say, Deion's done a fantastic job at Colorado this year. What Deion's done at Colorado has been incredible. I mean, he's basically turned them into the top team in the Big 12 in 1 year. So I have to give Deion a lot of credit. He's done a great job.
Yep.
But I don't think he's a good idea for the Cowboys to hire because you have to give up a lot to get him, I think. Because he's made it very clear, I think, that he wants to be coach of the Cowboys. He wants to coach Shador. And like Anders said, you'd have to give up a lot to get Shador. But yes, that is all we'll do. I will let Anders take a break from that. And we'll move on into a couple quick Twins topics here.
Yep.
That there is a ton. I will be right here and say there's not a lot of Twins news.
Yep.
I looked on all over Twitter. I've been following Twitter the last few days. There just has not been anything. The main piece we will bring up here, Marco Raya, top prospect pitcher for the Twins, was added to the 40-man to avoid the Rule 5 draft today. There are still a few other players that will be considered to the 40-man. But Marco Raya was the most obvious one that was going to be added. If you don't know who Raya is I want to say, he was a top 10 prospect. I don't think he is a top 10 prospect anymore for the Twins. He is. I'm wrong. He's our number 5 prospect. The Twins' number 5 prospect. He was drafted in the 4th round in 2020. 22 years old out of high school. And he's kind of worked his way up, and now he is in AAA. So he has worked his way up the minors, and he is a pretty obvious move. The other 3 guys that are being considered are 15th overall prospect Ricardo Olivar, 19th overall prospect Calais Rosario, and give me a second. Let me get to Aaron Glen's page again. He typed all these out. One second. It was Dan Hayes that typed all these out. No, it was Aaron Glenn. Yeah, sorry. I am still looking here at this article to figure out what which one of these. So it was Calais Rosario. It was Rosario. It was, who did I just say? Ricardo Olivar, and then Jesus, I can't find him. Then it was Rubel Cespedes. That's who it was. Rubel Cespedes, who was our number 22 prospect. those are the three that are being considered. My assumption would be Rosario's probably the only one, in my opinion, that I think would probably be considered because he's actually projected to be in the majors as soon as next year.
Right.
The other two aren't projected to be in the majors for a while, so I'd assume Rosario's the only one that would save maybe because Rosario to me is the only one that probably would actually get considered to be picked up. So yeah, but Marco Raya, happy to see him on the 40-man. I honestly expect him to make his debut next year. I could be wrong, but I honestly expect him to make his debut next year. Same with like Emmanuel Rodriguez. I expect him to make his debut, but those two for sure I expect to make his. Sorry. And then with that, we get to a topic that combines both me and Anders, a Twins topic that combines both me and Anders here. Yankees pitcher and former Twins prospect Luis Gil has been named AL Rookie of the Year, and somewhat of a shock to both me and Anders. For those of you that don't know, Luis Gil was a former Twins prospect that was traded to the Yankees in a trade that brought back the Twins, Jake Cave. This is where I would go on a rant. Like Anders done last, I give with the Cowboys. This is where I would go on a rant.
It's your turn.
Jake Cave was terrible for us. And I hope Jake Cave never has a successful season in the majors again. Which he hasn't because he's not good. And we gave Luis Gil, who at the time I don't think was a top prospect. I don't know even more if he was ranked up as a prospect. But shout out to the Yankees for turning him into something that resembled a Rookie of the Year candidate.
Yep.
And winning the Rookie of the Year. We watched Luis Gil tear us up early in the season. But I didn't really get to see much of Luis Gil. I thought he kind of slowed down midway through the season, so I was kind of surprised to see him win it because I thought he slowed down at the All-Star break because I know he made the All-Star game. But am I right, Anders? He made the All-Star game, right? Gil?
No.
He didn't? Oh, I thought he did.
No.
He was close. He was one of the guys in contention for it.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys that Hill says might be a snub. I think he was one of the snubs.
Yeah.
Hill said should have been, but they wasn't. Anders, you're obviously more of a Yankees guy than I am, and more of a Yankees guy than any of us watching probably. Your analysis of what made Gil so successful this year, what made him so good this year, and what the Yankees have in him going forward.
So, I mean, he's a strikeout artist, finishing the year with I think it's 10.1 Ks per nine. That might be 10.5 or 10.5 Ks per nine. And he was someone that I think a lot of fans were advocating for being moved to the bullpen because of his style. Because, he struggled with distance at various points throughout the year and did kind of this thing where he would get himself into jams and then get him out of it. And so, the kind of critique was that there were parts of the year where he would sort of get credit for climbing himself out of holes that he dug himself into. But I mean, so I'm going to go to his Savant here because there's some pretty there's some really talk about it. I took a look and I just want to, there's some really interesting stuff here. So, is kind of a, he's a 3-pitch pitcher with the four seamer, the slider, and the change. And that is also indicative of some maybe more bullpen fitting things. But, and he's an older rookie. I forget if I think I think he's 25. I'm pretty sure.
I think that sounds right. Right.
He's 25. The crazy thing about Gil is that none of this would have happened if Cole didn't get hurt, which is kind of bizarre. And, the only reason that he was able to do any of this was because Cole started the year off with the injury. And, it kind of ended up working out. I mean, not working out because you want guys to stay healthy. You don't want anyone to get hurt. But, essentially right as Cole got healthy and back, Clark Schmidt was the one, then he got hurt. And so there was always room for him. And he never, if it was a 6-man rotation, Boone never did anything that indicated that he was going to go with a 6-man rotation if he had the pieces to be able to be called for it. But, if they had to pick someone, it was probably going to be Gil because he had done some bullpen stuff in the past. His arsenal was, very leaning towards that. His style, an approach to pitching. And a lot of it just his metrics would be indicative of a really effective bullpen pitcher. But, he got lucked into, being able to be a starter the entire year. And, everything that it was best case scenario. He was great, was not afraid. And again, he got himself into jams, but, not every guy can crawl themselves out of it. And he did finish the year with a 3.5 ERA. I think the exact stat was that how many quality starts was it? He didn't get many. He didn't get. I'm trying to find his quality start numbers. He didn't get a ton because you need the innings threshold for quality starts. But I Bleav he got 3 or fewer. He had 3 or fewer earned runs in 22 of his 29 appearances. So, the ERA, it's what it is. But if you look at the bulk of it, it's a really he had a really good body of work. And he had that 10-game stretch where he was insane. He had a 2.1 or something ridiculous like that. Probably could have been higher if he could get to 6 innings instead of 5 a lot of the time. But, he kind of had that weird – he had those 2 awful starts and then got hurt and then had a couple okay starts and then kind of rounded it out towards the end of the year. I think if you took all of his starts and put them in reverse order, because you said yourself, you're just as surprised as I am. I think we'd both be less surprised if all of his starts happened in reverse order and he finished strong, kind of like the way that Wells did. I think you and I kind of both thought that if there was going to be a Yankee, it was going to be Wells.
Yeah,
And Wells had that insane kind of July onward. I think if you took his halves of the season and flipped those, we would feel like actually probably should be Gil. But his future with the team is really exciting. I hope he stays as a starter and gets to develop in that role. I think that's really important for him. So I hope they find a way to make that work.
No, I agree. And I said, hey, shout out to Luis Gil. Obviously, he had a great season this year. I personally thought, Colton Cowser was a lock to get it. So I'm very shocked by this move. I'm very shocked by that. I thought Cowser had the incredible season. I'm kind of shocked that he didn't win. And then obviously, that is that. I mean, and then obviously we'll talk here quick. Paul Skeens won Rookie of the Year in the NL, which we kind of assumed he would get. Absolutely incredible season from him. Obviously, I think it's deserved. I think that was one where we said all 3 were good choices in that league.
Yeah, that was I think all of those. I haven't checked what the voting breakdown was, but
yeah, no, I haven't either. But I was very. But hey, just shout out to Paul Skeens. He's had. I saw this in 1 year. In 1 year for Skeens, in 1.5 years for Skeens, he won the national championship, was the first overall pick, started dating Livy Dunn, All-Star Game starter, NL Rookie of the Year, NL Cy Young finalist, All MLB first team, all in a year and a half. It's just incredible. It's nuts to even say that. So shout out to Paul Skeens again. He's been
Yeah.
incredible. And so yeah, no, just crazy. But anyway, with that, Anders, one last question: are you surprised that Juan Soto declined his qualifying offer? That was just announced.
That was just announced.
It was just announced that Juan Soto declined his qualifying offer. I'm like, yeah, no, duh.
I saw something in the vicinity. Yeah, the Mets. Hold on, I'm trying to. I got a notification that had his name in it. I'm trying to find.
It probably just says Juan Soto declined qualifying offer, which
Hold on.
was not a.
Hold on, I'm trying to find the report. Who would you get that from, Zach?
I mean, it's just. It was like I think Juan Soto. It was. I don't remember where it was. I just saw it.
Okay.
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't. Anything major.
Right.
It was an obvious thing.
Right.
So.
No. Sure.
It literally tweet said like in the least obvious news of the offseason, Juan Soto has declined his qualifying offer.
Yeah. No. Sure.
But I forget where I got it from. Also kind of a small thing, but for Vikings fans and Minnesota sports fans, it is. Oh yeah, here. No, it's not that. Yeah, it's kind of for Minnesota Vikings fans, it's kind of a newer thing. One of the faces of Vikings Entertainment Network, Gabe Henderson, who was like the main guy, like that did like the on-camera stuff for the Vikings, during like the on a week-to-week basis, basically like anything that included like interviewing players or doing like cool little skits. It was Gabe Henderson usually that did it. Somebody saw yesterday that he was no longer included on their employee list, and it would just a statement came out today that Gabe Henderson was no longer employed with the Minnesota Vikings. So that was kind of crazy. That was kind of nuts. Because for the Vikings fans, I mean, he's been the on-camera guy for 4 years for us.
Right.
So, yeah, he does not work for the Vikings anymore. That is, it sounds like the same weirdness. Obviously, one of my heroes, one of the reasons I started doing like sports media, one of the reasons I'm on the show, The Anders, was a guy named Mike Wobschall, also known as Wobby, to many Minnesota sports fans. He was the on-camera guy for the Vikings for a long time as well before he also left there was no ever verified circumstances on why he left.
Right.
But now he's the Bleav in Vikings host. So shout out to, so I see his stuff all the time on Twitter. I'm like, yo, that's Wobby. That's my hero.
Right.
Big Wobby fan here. Big Wobby fan. But no, yeah, so that was that. But with that being said, Anders, I think that's all we really had for today.
Yeah.
There wasn't a ton of baseball news. And it wasn't that. But shout out to the Vikings. Shout out to the Timberwolves, who just had a good win against the Suns, I believe. Or was the Kings? That was one of those. The Timberwolves just won a game recently. Oh, Anders, we're going to do one more thing, and so we'll do it here at the end here to finish off the show.
Yep.
Our little NFL game we like to do.
Oh, God, yes, please.
We'll do this to end the show here. So today we had to guess the team and figure out who it is by jersey number.
Oh, God. Okay. Jeez.
And I don't know why wide receiver 3 is a blank. That is very weird to me.
That is – wait. What? Yeah.
I don't know why wide receiver 3 is blank. So I'm trying to think of who would be a QB that wears number 4 that has a wide receiver 1 that has a 10. Because I don't think CD's 88, right? So it's not Dak.
It's not Dak, and it's not – who wears 4.
Oh, is it Derek Carr? Is that Derek Carr and then Alvin Kamara is 41 and then Juwan?
That's it. Yep.
The New
That's it.
Orleans Saints.
Yep.
And then it's Derek.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't have a wide receiver 3.
Juwan Johnson is 83, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, no, not that one. Alvin Kamara is that one. Juwan Johnson. Yeah, because who would be the wide receiver 1? Is Mason Tipton considered the wide receiver 1 right now for the Saints? Or is that still...
Which is kind of bizarre.
Or is he 11? Because what number is Chris Olave?
Chris Olave is 12.
Okay, that's right. So it's either him or MVS, which I forget number MVS is. I might just run Mason Tipton here.
Okay.
It's not Mason Tipton. Maybe Mason Tipton's number 11. Oh, he's not. What?
What?
Okay, so this is weird. Who in the world is number 10 for the Saints? Oh, we just wasted a bunch of guesses there on wide receiver. I wanted to get Mason Tipton on the list. That's sad. I was hoping to get Mason Tipton on this. I don't even know where to look, man. You know, it's I think MVS is 10.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
I don't know who number 11 is, though. That's weird. Is it like, would they say Cedric Wilson is that? I guess Cedric Wilson, right?
Like, yeah. Oh,
I mean, it is Cedric Wilson. Who is this? I want to know. Okay, do you know any of the linemen? Do you know any Saints linemen?
The Trevor Penning, I think, is 75.
He is not.
Oh, so try 70. Try 70.
He is that. Okay. Who is Ryan Ramczyk still the left tackle for the Saints? Or am I way off?
No, I think.
Do you know is Ryan Ramczyk still? Am I wrong about that?
Crap! Did he? I thought he had to get offered. That was I forget what it.
Or is that Luis Fayaga?
Yes, it is. It is. There you go.
I don't know how to pronounce his first name. I just guessed. I know it's Fuaga.
Yeah.
And then center wise, it can't be because McCoy's out, right? Has Eric McCoy been out for them? You know?
Yeah.
Or is it Eric McCoy? Oh, God, I don't know. You know anything? I don't think you know the guards, do you?
No, I don't think. No, I don't think so.
Oh wait, is Cesar Ruiz still starting for the Saints at guard?
Yes, he is.
I'm gonna guess 51. I think I remember him being a 50 number. Okay, that's all we got. Who we miss? Oh, they literally don't have a wide receiver 3. They literally don't list a wide receiver 3 on this.
Oh my God.
Eric McCoy is still a center. Okay, and Nick Saldiveri is the other guard. Oh, never got that. But anyway, well, with that being said, we are gonna hop off here. That is all for our show. Andrew, do you want to sign off here quick?
I would love to sign up for us, Zach. Hopefully we do a little better with that name thing next time. But yes, I would love to go ahead and sign us off on this shorter episode. This has been the Bleav in Twins podcast on the Bleav Network, episode 27. Alongside Zac Tipton, I have been your host, Anders Pryor. If you want to continue to listen to our content, there's a couple ways to do it. You can download our content and all other Bleav Network content on the Bleav.com website. If you want to, that's for streaming. If you want to just listen, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you get your sports media throughout the week. If you are watching this here on YouTube, please subscribe, like, comment, turn on post notifications so you know whenever we put stuff online. Go Twins, go Vikings. Am I missing any of the other two, Zach? Or no?
I mean, go Twins, go Vikings, go Gophers. They play Penn State this week.
Yes. Good luck to Fleck.
Good luck to Fleck against Penn State. Can they do it again for the second time in his tenure? For the second time in his tenure, we'll see. And then good luck to the Timberwolves.
Yes.
Because Edwards is a beast and they're rolling right now. And then finally, good luck to, I think, a surprising team for me. The Minnesota Wild are playing very well right now. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm pretty positive that Kirill Kaprizov is being considered for like MVP or I don't know what the award is for.
Right.
In that. But good luck to the Wild as well. We'll say good luck to all Minnesota sports teams there.
Absolutely.
But yes, Anders, that is all for the
All right. Good to see you guys. Signing off.